Hey man, let's talk about something that most guys never understand: the raw psychological power of silence. You've been texting back and forth with a woman. Maybe it's going well, maybe it's not. But here's what I want you to consider. What would happen if you just stopped? What if you didn't respond to her next message? What if you let that read receipt sit there unanswered? Most men panic at the thought of not responding immediately. They think they'll lose her interest. But what if I told you the opposite is true? What if your silence is the most attractive thing you could do? Today we're breaking down exactly what happens in her mind when you stop texting back. And trust me, this isn't about playing games. This is about understanding female psychology at its core. This is about power dynamics, attention, and the unspoken rules that govern attraction. So listen closely, because what I'm about to tell you will change how you handle every conversation from now on. The first thing that happens: her brain goes into overdrive the moment you don't respond. Here's the thing about women: they're wired differently than us when it comes to communication. For most guys, a delayed response means nothing. We're busy, we're focused on other things. But for women, silence creates questions, and questions create obsession. The second she sees that you've read her message but didn't respond, her mind starts racing. Did I say something wrong? Is he talking to someone else? Why isn't he answering me? This isn't insecurity, this is biology. Women are naturally more attuned to social cues, and when those cues disappear, they need to fill in the blanks. Think about it. Every other guy she talks to responds within minutes. They're always available, always eager to keep the conversation going. But you're different. You have boundaries. You have a life outside of your phone. And that scarcity, that unavailability, it triggers something primal in her brain. She starts wondering what makes you so busy, what makes you so confident that you don't need to respond immediately. The second thing, she starts checking her phone obsessively. Watch this. If you've ever stopped responding to a woman, notice what happens to her online activity. Suddenly she's posting more stories, liking more posts, being more active on social media. That's not a coincidence. She's hoping you'll see it, hoping you'll engage. She's basically broadcasting her availability without directly reaching out again. And here's where it gets interesting. She'll start paying attention to when you're online. If you're active on Instagram but not responding to her texts, that drives her crazy, because now she knows you're ignoring her specifically, not just busy. She might even start watching your stories immediately, the second you post something. Why? Because she's monitoring your activity, trying to understand why you're not talking to her. This behavior shows you've shifted the power dynamic. You're no longer the one waiting for her response. She's waiting for yours. And that, my guy, is exactly where you want to be. The third sign: she'll double text, and it reveals everything. Here's one of the clearest signs you've gotten under her skin: the double text. Most women hate double texting. They see it as desperate, needy. But when you stop responding, something interesting happens. Her need for closure overrides her pride. She'll send another message. Maybe it's casual, like, "Did you see my last text?" Or maybe it's more direct, like, "Hello, are you there?" Either way, she's breaking her own rules. And that tells you everything you need to know about her level of investment. When a woman double texts after you've gone silent, she's essentially admitting that your attention matters more to her than maintaining her composure. And listen, this isn't about manipulation. This is about understanding value. When you're always available, your attention has no worth. But when you're selective, when you have standards, suddenly that attention becomes precious. She's texting twice because she's realized your responses aren't guaranteed anymore. The fourth thing she does, she starts reaching out through other channels. This one's huge. If texting isn't working, she'll find other ways to get your attention. Maybe she comments on your Instagram post. Maybe she likes an old photo. Maybe she sends you something on Snapchat or tries to start a conversation somewhere else. This is called channel switching, and it's a clear sign that you're occupying mental real estate in her head. Think about it. If she didn't care about you not responding, she'd just move on. But instead, she's trying different approaches, different platforms, hoping one of them will work. Women do this because they're testing to see if you're ignoring her specifically, or if you're just not seeing her messages. But here's the key. If you don't respond on text, don't respond anywhere else. Consistency is everything. The moment you engage on a different platform, you're showing her that you are seeing her messages. You're just choosing not to respond on text. And that gives her a roadmap for how to reach you in the future. The fifth sign, she'll try to create urgency or drama. Ever notice how women suddenly have emergencies or important news when you're not responding? "Oh my God, you'll never guess what happened." Or, "I need to tell you something crazy." This is manufactured urgency, and it's a direct response to your silence. She's trying to force you to break your silence by making it seem like you're missing out on something important. Sometimes it's fake drama, sometimes it's real, but the timing isn't a coincidence. She's learned that regular conversation isn't getting your attention, so she's escalating. And here's what you need to understand. This is actually a good sign. It means your silence is working. She's so bothered by not hearing from you that she's willing to create situations that demand a response. But stay strong, because the moment you respond to manufactured urgency, you're training her to create more drama to get your attention. The sixth thing, she starts questioning her own value. This is where the real psychology kicks in. When you don't respond immediately, a woman starts to wonder why, and that wondering leads to self-reflection. She'll start analyzing the conversation, looking for clues about what went wrong. She might even ask her friends for advice, showing them your conversation, asking what they think it means. And here's the powerful part. She starts wondering if she's losing her touch, if she's not as attractive or interesting as she thought. Your silence forces her to confront the possibility that she might not be as irresistible as she believed. This isn't about making her feel bad. This is about leveling the playing field. Most women are used to having men chase them, validate them, respond immediately. But when you don't, you're showing her that her attention isn't enough to control you. And that's incredibly attractive to women who are used to having power in their interactions with men. The seventh sign, she'll test you with other guys. This one's subtle, but pay attention. When you stop responding, she might start posting pictures with other guys, mentioning other men in her stories, or talking about dates she's going on. This is called social proof manipulation. She's trying to make you jealous, trying to trigger your fear of loss. But here's the thing. If you've truly internalized abundance mindset, if you know your worth, this won't affect you. In fact, it confirms that your silence is working. She's so bothered by your lack of response that she's trying to manipulate you into chasing her again. The key is to stay unmoved. If she's really interested in other guys, she wouldn't be trying so hard to get a reaction from you. Her behavior proves that you're still the one she wants attention from. She's just trying to force your hand. Now listen, this isn't about being cruel or playing games. This is about understanding human psychology and setting proper boundaries. The reason this works isn't because you're manipulating her. It's because you're showing her that you have options, that you have a life outside of her, that your attention isn't free. Most guys give their attention away too easily. They're always available, always responding, always chasing. But women are attracted to men who have standards, men who are selective with their energy. When you stop texting back immediately, you're not being rude, you're being deliberate. You're showing her that she needs to earn your responses, not just expect them. And here's what happens when you maintain this energy. She starts working for your attention instead of the other way around. She starts putting more effort into her messages, being more engaging, more flirty, more invested, because she knows she can't take your responses for granted. But remember, this only works if you're genuinely busy, if you're building something, if you have a life worth living. You can't fake this energy. You can't pretend to be busy while sitting at home waiting for her to text you back. The silence has to be authentic. It has to come from a place of genuine self-worth and purpose. When you stop texting back because you're focused on your goals, your career, your passions, that's when the real magic happens. Because you're not just playing a game, you're living a life that's actually worth her wanting to be part of. So here's my challenge to you. The next time you feel the urge to respond immediately, don't. Wait. Let her wonder. Let her think. Let her realize that your attention isn't guaranteed. And watch how quickly the dynamic shifts. Watch how she starts chasing. Watch how she starts investing. Watch how she starts valuing what you bring to the table. Because at the end of the day, attraction isn't about always being available. It's about being worth waiting for. And when you understand that, everything changes. Look, the bottom line is this. Your silence speaks louder than your words ever could. When you stop texting back, you're not being mean. You're being strategic. You're showing her that you're a man with options, boundaries, and self-respect. And that, my guy, is the kind of energy that creates real, lasting attraction. So stop chasing, stop being so available, and start letting your actions show her exactly what kind of man she's dealing with. Trust me, she'll never see you the same way again.